Here's a really nice landscape plan and proof that even though landscape plans are important, they don't necessarily guarantee that everything's going to come out right, because what we have here, we're going to show you an example of an unsuccessful landscape where the owners are completely unhappy, nothing's grown, more than half the plants have died, they've tried replanting more than once. Combination of improper original installation and poor maintenance, I think, is at the heart. Very poor soil, and no attempt was made to remediate that poor soil. So I'm John Valentino, president of Truxell & Valentino, Landscape Development Inc., and John&Bobs Corporation. And this is Chip Valentino. He's here to help me with our garden tour today, where we're going to just walk you through this garden, describe the problems to you, describe what the owners hope to change dramatically, and how we're going to do it using soil as the key factor in improving everything about this garden. Follow Chip and I as we walk through the garden and tell you all about it. As you can see, there's a pool, and part of this plan is a large arbor made out of steel with wisteria growing on it, and that'll go right alongside the pool. This is where the new arbor is going to go, with the wisteria right next to the pool. And then you can see this row of mock orange, or Pittosporum tabayra, is not very successful. Some are half dead or mostly dead, and they're also pruned in a way that I'm not real fond of, kind of clubbed into submission. We'd rather allow them to grow and look a little more natural. You can see the drainage isn't the greatest, so we're going to improve this soil and make these Pittosporum tabayra thrive. That is absolutely disastrous for anything we might do there in the way of future planting. And that represents what it looks like after it rains, and it represents what it looks like after we water in the summer, because these areas that are poorly drained get standing water, and high temperatures and heavy soil, deadly, absolutely deadly. So this is indicative of the kind of issues we have here. Heavy soil that doesn't drain well. We can change that hardness by getting life into it. And you can see what it looks like. A heavy clay-like soil. Actually, it's hard even though it's so wet. I had a hard time getting the shovel beyond about 3 or 4 inches, even in standing water. You can see right now we're digging through the lawn, because we're going to put in a drain there and connect this low spot to an existing drain so we can carry that water away, and then use our optimized, maximized, nourished biosol penetrate liquid biotiller, infuse this soil with life, food for life, attractants for life, get that soil food web working, and change everything about it and make it a living soil. In this case, we're going to have a row of Satsuma semi-dwarf oranges with drift roses underneath it. So in the lawn there, we're redoing the irrigation system. You can see all the flags represent where we're going to add new heads. We want head-to-head coverage, not spray-to-spray coverage. So the only way to get head-to-head coverage is have enough sprinklers where the spray of one actually gets to the head of the next. So we're going to use a special variety of flamethrower Cercis here, which doesn't get very big, and then another small crepe myrtle variety that has red leaves and deep red flowers. The owners here like deep colors and a lot of color, so we're going to use the crepe myrtle on this side. And we walk through this area, you can see a lot of lavender and cistus that has died. You'll see areas that obviously plants were pulled out, and you see standing water in those holes. We want to do away with that by changing the soil, making it so that it drains much better, planting these plants slightly high so that water drains off of them, and essentially replanting this whole area. You can see there's probably more dead plants than live plants. You can see there's like an alley of different types of fruit trees. You can see some are starting to bloom. Some of them haven't done well. Some have lots of damage on the trunk. Like this one has a lot of sunburn on it. We'll be replacing some of these that look this bad. Look at this. The layer of the trunk is just destroyed. Something not so good happening. You can see all of this sticky exude there, which indicates this tree is not healthy. This looks like it has a sucker. Yeah, what happened is Satsuma mandarin orange doesn't usually have this many thorns. You can see right at the base here, this is the actual Satsuma mandarin orange, and the rest of it is a sucker that won't ever have fruit. You can see where it comes off is below the graft. The graft is about right here. And so we're going to be cutting off this big sucker, which is hard to recognize as a sucker, although the thorns are a hint. We put a lot of our blend in there. We're going to put our penetrate liquid biotiller. You want to go out that one or that one? Everywhere in the front where they have this block wall, we're going to add a lot of Little John bottle brush and kind of reposition what's here. What's here is a lot of cistus and plumbago, and some of it's alive, some of it isn't. So we'll be repositioning those, and then in the foreground, we'll be filling in bare areas with hesperalo, red hesperalo, which some people call red cactus. They had myrtle on either side, and more than half of it has died. We're going to replant the myrtle, make this look like a unified planting of vitex and myrtle. Myrtle is just an evergreen shrub, and then between the loropetalum and the myrtle, we're going to put some colorful lantana in there, and so try to make this look unified, dense, instead of half dead and missing plants right now. And then all of these lights are beat up. We're going to move them so they don't get hit like they are currently getting hit, and then we're going to add some to light up this entry. This is a guest entry driveway. On our YouTube videos, we've done a lot about Carapia. This is interesting because this area here, right next to the street, was planted in the old-fashioned Carapia before Carapia was improved. It's called Lipia nodiflora. It goes more dormant in the winter, and you'll see it looks pretty dormant now with a lot of weeds in it. And it has a very shallow drip system, and the problem they're having is that people drive on it because from the street it looks like you should be able to drive on it, but when they drive on it, they screw up the drip irrigation and they put ruts in it and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a curvilinear design, which I've just done in a dashed line here over this existing plan. And on this side, which is adjacent to the street, we're going to build a little road, basically. We're going to use base rock and a decorative kind of rock on top so that you can drive on it. And then on the other side, we're going to leave the Lipia nodiflora since it's established. So it's essentially the same theme throughout the front and back, which is we're going to change everything about the soil with lots of applications of our Nourish Biosol, Maximize, Optimize, Penetrate Liquid Biotiller. We're going to improve the maintenance. We're going to put a layer of top dressing mulch where you don't see the ugly drip everywhere. We're going to change the maintenance practices where we're not clubbing things into submission and where we're watering things properly to where everything grows instead of half the plants dying. That combination of simple changes, I think, will make a completely different looking landscape in keeping with what the owners were envisioning, which is really they're ones that like a very colorful landscape with bold colors. And so you'll see that coming up as we do our replanting, and we'll show you that process and the result of that. So if you want to follow the progress of this garden, and we think the progress will be substantial, subscribe to our channel and watch Chip and I change everything about the garden. We're going to change everything through the magic of soil.